Hello there. I am updating once again, and we're looking at average versus marginal, formerly called something else, which you probably don't know because I deleted it all. Let's take a look and see. Where are my files? Oh, I'm looking at PDF. There we go. So average function, we might have profit, revenue, or cost. Just take that function, divide by x. You see what I did there? My cost is this quadratic equation, big old divide by x, like that. And then we're going to type that into Excel and calculate the number and describe it right there. So Excel, there we go. I typed the cost in. My average was click divided by click, rather than typing the whole thing in. And back to PDF. So the average, like the function, is for that accumulation of the first group, whatever it is. Now I try to make this different than the instantaneous rate of change because I don't like saying 7250 per that, because that some students got confused with that in the past. So the idea of the average is it is for each and every individual thing. But sometimes that's kind of implied. You know, if you think of your average grade, you don't say whatever per grade. What's your average test score? 87 per test. You don't say it, you just say 87. How fast were you? What was your average speed on that trip? 73 miles per hour. Not 73 miles per hour every hour. You get what I'm saying? Anyways, but the emphasis is it's not for the 50th individual thing. It is for that group of from start to whatever that number is. Okay, marginal. So be careful with this one. Some students are doing derivatives of the average. We'll do that in Unit 3 when we get the minimum average cost. But it says marginal cost. So this is the derivative of the cost function. And likewise, whatever function it is like that. So derivative of quadratic, pretty straightforward. Plug it into Excel. Right there, have to actually type that equation in. And then same marginal description that we had before. The next input is approximately, so you could phrase that slightly differently to capture that essence there. And the idea of the last one is comparing them and making a description. Now, if we didn't do the instantaneous rate of change, but if we were doing that because the derivative is positive, the cost, and be careful with these terms, average cost, marginal cost, cost are all three different things. So the first derivative is positive, the cost is increasing. Now that's not what we're doing here. But we could use that to describe as well. But we want to compare the average and the marginal, and there you go. So the marginal is 65, the average 72, so the average is greater than, and sometimes we call, I didn't say at the beginning, call this C bar, if we were saying that out loud, but average cost. And so the average cost is decreasing. So on Blackboard, I've been updating that summary, and you can see I just added two little inequalities to say that. Now you can also pretty much determine that with a little table. Look at your average cost. It's decreasing like that. Now there comes a point where the average and the marginal are equal to each other, and we don't do that anymore. We could do that like equilibrium and have a subtraction and then goal seek, but things change. So at that value of 50, because the average is greater than, and you memorize that inequality, we're able to say that the average cost is decreasing. So if you manufacture more, you'll be making a little bit more money per unit. But again, you could get that from the table. And then the opposite, if the C bar is less than, then we go back to our average cost is increasing, so you've made too many. Austin. Anyways, end of video. Let's click stop.